they're considered a reef-dwelling species, and they
Mhm.
probably had too much current, so they adopted a slightly different courtship and egg exchange cross.
My abs never do dances anymore.
Interesting.
I've only got one pair left anyway. But there was three pairs when I got them 5 years ago. But one died soon after I got it. It gave birth to a bunch of misformed fry that were all dead. And then 2 days after the birthing, he died.
Wow.
I'm letting you guys chat and waiting to do my Happy Wine Wednesday
How
because
come we're getting my voice coming?
Well, this little guy, he's not that small really, but he definitely all the ones I recently picked up, they are all over the place. That they never stop.
Whoops, we're live. I didn't know it.
yes, I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt you guys. Plus, I was still messing with stuff. As you
I
can
was
see,
still yapping away like we were still offline.
now you guys
Yeah.
got a preview of what happens before Wine Wednesday when Kelly's trying to figure everything out. Anyhow, I know the lighting's a little dark in here. Sorry. Happy Wine Wednesday, everyone. That is my favorite Pinot Noir in the glass. Got my bread and butter going on. Fantastic wine, by the way. And the reason that I'm in a different spot tonight is because I'm hoping to show you guys my troubles with flow. Hopefully, Harkins Aquatics will jump in at some point, maybe Dan. But I already have Ray, Cheryl, and Holly with me, which I'm very happy that they're here. Thank you, guys. And I'll be looking at your comments, questions too, but probably not while I'm showing you guys the tank, which I'm not going to do just yet. But I'm going to have to jump out of this and jump on the phone. So it's, it's Wine Wednesday. We're just going to do the best we can. But I need you guys' help figuring out this flow. This tank behind me has been a pain in the rear. So Dylan's, if you're out there too, I'm looking for your comments on how you do your all-in-one. But before we jump into all my stuff, happy Wine Wednesday. Hope you've had a fabulous week. Hope your tanks are doing well. And Ray, Cheryl, and Holly, what were we talking about right before we jumped in?
Courtship in young erectus, basically, with some abs thrown in.
Okay, and Holly, can you repeat I'm trying to get in the middle of the screen, sorry guys. Can you repeat what's going on in your tanks, ma'am?
I remember. Okay, so in my tank, I have one young male that he's trying to court both the ladies in the tank. One is his sister and one is his mom.
But he doesn't know
And
that.
yeah, he doesn't know that. But yeah, he loves the ladies, so he's trying to court them both. His sister, she's too young to really try to dance yet. She hasn't done that, but they swim around holding tails and, flirting back and forth. His mom is serious. She has eggs she wants to transfer
Mm-hmm.
and recently lost his dad, which was her partner.
Right.
So she's frustrated with him and she's kind of going through the motions and then she changes her mind and I don't want to transfer my eggs to this guy. Why does it have to be him? So
Right.
He
that's
probably
what's
thinks he's a little inept.
yeah.
He's not giving quite the right signals.
Who's this young whippersnapper?
Right. Well, I was going to say I'm having a very similar situation. I think I shared my female in this tank is from Holly, Siren Song Seahorses. And when she first got in the tank, when I first got her, I'm sorry, my hair is driving me crazy, guys. Sorry. Anyways, so when I first got her, she was very shy. We've talked about this endlessly on this channel, so I'm not going to go into it. But bottom line is, I wasn't used to that. I was used to really active seahorses. And then when I put two seahorse source males in the tank with her, she got all of a sudden extremely active too. But then, within a week, now she's hiding again. And I am convinced, I did a couple posts about this, funny posts, because I am absolutely convinced that this male, who's a lot bigger than her, that has decided that she's his bae, I think I will find her under a rock, and I'll show you guys close up in a minute. But I'll find her under a rock, and he'll be right there, trying to find her. Okay? I mean, he is hunting her down. And the other male can't get anywhere near her because he's like a freaking bully. Dan needs to get in here so I can ask him. But anyways, so yeah, really interesting. And at one point she did act like, okay, what's this about? How are we gonna do this? And it was like she had no idea what to do. So maybe she's hiding, creating eggs, but I'm thinking, what age do you think they start? I mean, I've seen them start really, really young, way younger. But Cheryl, if they haven't been frisky, can they be late bloomers?
They could be late bloomers, and it could just be a matter of a change in environment.
Mm.
Uh, Temporarily shut them down from, and again, the females are usually more outgoing, but not always. And from her perspective, she's in a strange environment. It's a whole new world for her.
But
Right.
her older sister Sadie isn't much older, and she's still not ready.
Okay.
She has the same thing going on because she likes to hide. She has caves she likes to hide in. And yeah, both my males
She's out.
like to go find her and peek at her. And she kind of flirts with them from there. She feels safe. She likes being looked at and admired. And now I see her swimming around holding tails and swimming with the males, but that's to a year old. I think August, September, so she'll be a year old.
Well, one thing I saw,
Probably 9, 10 months, and yours I think is at the 8-month-old mark.
one thing I saw with a young pair that I'd raised from separate adults,
Mm-hmm.
put them in the 90 gallon together. They were hot. They were courting all day, every day for well going on 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I got up one morning and they were on opposite sides of the tank.
Mm.
The little girl had now a little pouch.
Oh, your
Oh.
picture leaves something to be desired.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where the day before I was watching him because the large male, he kept getting in front of the little female and looking at her, getting down at pouch level and swinging his head from side to side, going like this. It kept looking,
What's happening?
and so they knew it long before I did.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I'm hoping she stays a girl. She's
Right
pretty
away.
feminine.
When he was younger and I put him in the display tank, as soon as he saw his parents together, he was following them around practicing.
Oh yeah,
Like right away, like then he's all, look, I have a pouch too. He was trying to show it to them.
it's like the one male that I have who's actively courting and actively going after the other males already. He's pushing them away. Uh, and the other two males, they're a little smaller. They're younger than he is, and he's definitely taking over right now. But he
Yeah.
just, and he's not playing games. He's inflating his pouch the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, they have different personalities, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Salty. Hey, guys, I just want to say I tried to use the actual webcam to close up on the tank to show you the girl because she's out and about right now, but my cam got stuck. So I am really still here. Sorry you're seeing my door. And hey, Salty, I hope you are able to stick around for a second because I'm getting ready to ask questions about Flo. I just wanted to give everybody else here a chance to chat about anything they wanted to before I try this technical stuff and possibly, tear the whole thing down. But anything else going on with you, Holly?
Um,
I
I
got two more.
I found a koi tub for setting up for fry.
Nice. And I
We
still
have
haven't sent you the video. I will.
we have a local place that does koi, so I called her and talked to her, and she put in on a big order, where she does it for a bunch of people, so we don't have to pay shipping.
Nice.
Like everybody pitched in. So
I ordered two more tubs this week too, some larger ones, because from what I'm seeing in these erectus that I've got, I'm gonna have seahorses coming out my ears, and I've got already completely cleaned and sterilized 4 tubs, 2 sumps, 6 skimmers, 6 K1 media reactors, and
Jeez.
I don't know, at least 12 pumps. I've been working on this for 2 weeks and I'm finally almost done. Had to
Mm.
clean the rock, everything.
And are you taking video of it for us and
Uh,
pictures?
you don't want to see the mess that I've got right now.
Ah,
I
gotcha.
have I've got everything ready, everything's plumbed, but right now I'm working on the sumps, so nothing's hooked up. So I've got stuff laying everywhere. And I finally got the sumps cleaned, finally put in the skimmers at the K1 media reactors. And so I'm getting down to the last stage, but
Gotcha.
it's been a nightmare.
Let me tell you, the reason that I was running late is because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to show
What
the
happened to
tank.
the
I got to
sound?
clean it. What'd you say, Ray? What'd you say, Ray? Can you
Did he
guys not
lose?
hear me?
Uh-oh, maybe you
I
lost.
got my volume turned up 100% and I just very faintly hear things.
Okay, anybody else having trouble hearing me? Let me check real
Sound
quick.
fine to me on my side.
I'm good right now.
Ray, I think it might be you. I'm sorry.
Huh.
I,
It was doing fine up until just,
maybe you know what's possible. It's possible that when I jerked the camera around, maybe it affected it. Sorry. I'll try to talk louder for you. But was there anything that you wanted to share? Anything new with you, Ray?
nope,
Just saying, it's the same old here to help. Hey,
yep. Well,
gotcha.
Hey,
when you're
do you
down
want
to
to
just one
volunteer to
pair
do
of
cleaning?
seahorses left now, then you don't have a lot of talk about. I mean, it, 5 years ago this month when I got them and they were about 6 months old at that point. So
Well, how long can they breed? They can breed up until they're like
I'm
five
sorry, I
years
can't hear
old,
you.
right? Can't they breed until they're like 5 years old?
Some of the bigger species really don't really start producing really large fry until they're at least 5 years old.
Right.
So that would be Indians, abs, some of those species. And I know I've talked with enough commercial breeders that will say they don't even mess with the early fry from some of these species. They wait until they start producing the really nice big fry that come along as they mature.
Sure. And I saw Dylan's said that his are still far too young to breed. But man, I'm telling you, when I was breeding myself and I had a bunch of adolescents, those little suckers, just like what Holly's saying, they didn't care if they were bro and sister. they they were trying to mate at 3 months old, 4 months old. I was like, what the heck? But I guess each is different.
Well, it's like the ones I've got here. They aren't that old. They're no more than 4 inches,
Hmm.
if that if that much, and they're definitely going at it.
Now
Gotcha.
I've had to turn the volume way down.
Can you hear me
I'm
though?
gonna I'm gonna shut down and reboot the computer.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll
Yes.
All
be
right,
looking to get back in.
right
Okay,
back.
and I just want, in case Ray sees this later, or I'll tell him when he jumps back in. We appreciate him coming every week, anyways, because he's been doing this for so long and has such
Yeah,
valuable information to share. He can be hard around the edges sometimes, but it's because he's been there, done that, and
to
knows what
the
what.
point. Yeah.
But
Knows it.
I love reading his responses to some of the questions we get because I know I can read it. I don't have to worry about what he's telling to somebody because I know he's going to be 100% on.
right, exactly. And anytime you guys do really appreciate or get something out of Wine Wednesday, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for whoever did just subscribe. It's too small, but I'll say thank you to your name once I see it bigger. And you can always super chat, you can always subscribe, and just support us. Coming and doing this every week. But yeah, okay. Anyways, Holly, were you trying to say something else before I try to do this showing the tank thing?
Nope, I don't think so.
Anything new with fragrances or anything that you want to share?
Oh, I still have plenty of those.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I still got that going. Now that I have more money coming in, finally, I'm about to get my booth so I can start doing like farmers markets and stuff like that. and start kind of promoting the seahorses and everything.
Hey,
So,
I know what I wanted to ask you. Did you
Mhm.
ever, whatever happened with the blazer?
Oh, it disappeared while my husband was taking a smoke break, because he was putting up the fence he was replacing out there. And yeah, real quick, he went to roll a smoke, and when he came back, it was gone. So they were probably sitting there
Wait,
waiting for the opportunity. So yeah, it was probably a stolen vehicle, is what I'm thinking. But we have
Okay.
all kinds of weird stuff in our neighborhood. So
Okay, Miss Holly. So one little teeny thing that you're gonna have to do for me, so that I can jump back in on the phone. I didn't think about because I figured Dan would be here. Is I just made you co-host. So when you're looking at your screen, can if you hit, do you see participants down at the bottom?
yes,
Okay, if you click it, does a white box come up?
yes.
Okay, so when in a minute you should see at the top of your screen that I am coming in as that I'm coming back in or Ray's coming in, and you have to hit the admit. All you have to, it'll say admit or not, and all you do is admit it. In fact, I'll try to. I'm warning you guys now. I'm going to jump in on my phone. If it starts screeching like crazy, I apologize.
okay, do I have to click on anything?
Nope, you're
Okay.
good. You're
Okay.
you're fine. I'm just going to try to join.
So I'll see the name and then I hit admit when it'll
Right.
show
I'm
that.
going to try to do it while I'm still in, but it does screech usually when you do that. So let's just try here. We're just trying something new here.
Oh, you'll love the bowls, Holly. Once you get those, first time you get to use those for fry, it'll change your world.
Nice.
Oh, you know what I just thought of too? Oh,
Easier is always better in my book.
come on.
So yeah, you'll have to tell me how to plumb it. You'll have to share some
Well,
directions.
and Kelly's got a video too that we did that shows a lot of the steps.
Yes.
Yeah, she keeps telling me that, but I don't have the link yet. I
Well,
think I
the
looked
oh
for it
shoot.
and couldn't find it on the channel.
Well,
It's
just to
So
tell
much
you,
stuff, it's hard to know which is what.
well, Holly,
well,
we did actually publish a video, but there's better ones that might work better. So you can get with me on the side, but I will find it and link it when we're done here. The
Yeah,
main
just
one,
shoot me a
but you
link.
can.
I've
Okay.
got a ton of pictures that I can send you too on
Cool.
on how to do. Basically, you're going to drill a hole in the tub. You're going to put them in a bulkhead. You're going to mount a standpipe on that bulkhead, and then you're going to build an outer sleeve that fits over the whole assembly that keeps you from pushing the fly.
Mhm.
There she is.
I'm trying. But
But
see that
see that
echo?
echo?
I
I
wonder if
wonder
I.
if I,
Sorry, guys.
guys,
I
I
wonder
wonder
if
if
I
I
mute.
mute
Here.
here.
Did the
Did the
echo
echo
stop?
stop?
No, it's
No,
still.
it's
Nope.
still echoing. Shit.
Um. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I guess
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
have
have
to
to
leave.
leave.
Hang
Hang
on.
on.
Wait
Wait
a
a
minute.
minute.
Because
Because if I leave,
it
it
won't
won't
pick
pick
it
it
up
up
on
on
the
the
I see
computer.
computer.
you on here twice now on my participant.
Okay. Wait. Let me see.
Okay, she
Now is
muted.
it less squeaky?
There we go. Yeah.
Okay. Phew. All right. So I'm gonna try this, guys. You guys just tell me how this works out. Actually, real quick. Sorry, we're trying something new. I'm gonna try
How
to
do you keep
hide.
water when you turn that tank upside down?
I know. I don't know. Um, okay. Spotlight. There we have it. Okay. Um. So, sorry. This is the tank. It's a 40 all-in-one. We had lots of problems with it, including the sand or the no sand, and the bottom was completely like they could see straight down to the floor. So we put blue underneath, right? So I've done all these things to try to make it better. The whole topic tonight is flow, but I wanted to show you the whole thing. First of all, hate this light. I went cheap, and it does the shimmery. Oh, you can't even see it on the camera, but like in real life, it's really bad. That flickery crap. So any thoughts on a better light, I'm game. All right, so there's just a bunch of fake stuff. I don't like this thing. It's about to go. There's some macros. And there's actually seahorses. Here's my girl hiding.
Look at her.
I will feed them in a sec, so they will come out.
You
And I'm
notice
looking-
she's slipping in deeper under the rock now that she's being photographed.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she does not like me. Here she
Oh,
goes.
nothing to see here. I'm just a rock.
Well, she
Oh,
think-
here she comes. Look at her.
I know,
Oh.
and she knows when I come up to the tank, it's food. So I'm looking
Oh,
for the male. He's usually hounding her. Nope, he's over here. So this is the guy that thinks she's his, and then there's the guy that gets bullied. Okay, so first off, you can see this guy's swimming around. I mean, not active like up and down the tank and stuff, but he can get around. The flow is not strong enough. You can also see the snail, I won't say the S word, poop all over. That's the one bad thing about no sand and having snails. But the flow should be moving that, because here's the back. I've got a sock with the aquachar. I've got the K1 media. Hard to see, sorry. And I have a question about that too, real quick. So, Cheryl, this one's for you. I made the K1 media reactor with just a 1 liter bottle and an airline at the bottom, right? And I cut the holes at the top, and then they were you could see it sticks out of the tank, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't going to work. So Dan said, just poke holes in the sides, like around the top of the side. So I don't really want to put my hand in the tank or pull it up, but there's holes down here now, but it's loud. Can you guys hear that?
I used old skimmer bodies, and what I did is I've got a pump hooked up to them, so I've got water flowing in the top. I've got an air line in them to keep them aerated, and then I drilled holes in the skimmer bodies to release the water. But you don't have a lot of K1 in there. Mine are about 3/4 full of the K1 when they're dry. So you could probably get away with adding more K1 to that.
Well, you're making me crazy. I'll try to pull it up. Oh, shit. Okay. Just a little bit of fingers in the tank. So it's pretty darn...
Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't
right?
see it all the way down.
But my whole point is, and I did a video on making it, guys, if you're interested or curious, but my whole point is, it's just because there's holes in the top and in the sides, I think that's what's making it so noisy. Like,
Mine
Hear
make
that?
noise, and I've talked with more than one person that has used K1 media reactors, and they refuse to use them anymore because they do make noise.
well, I mean, it's not that terrible, you know what I mean? But anyways, I just wondered if there was a way, or like maybe if I redid it with a shorter container, maybe it would be better, but I won't even worry about it then. Okay, so then I have the 2 pumps. They're on a pad just to stop vibrations, because the whole point to all of this, guys, is that this tank is oddly shaped. It's literally like, when you look from the side, there is not much room width on the side. That's not width. That's whatever that is. Anyways, it's got a lot of width long wise, but not, this wise. This wise, the compartments are taking up too much of the space, which I thought would be great, more room for equipment, but then it's just hard to get the flow right. Okay, moving on. Sorry. The 2 pumps.
One thing, Kelly, you're
ahead.
running on your returns.
Mhm.
One, you've got an accelerator nozzle on there, which puts out a very narrow, and the
Right.
other one, it doesn't look like you have anything on it. I
Right.
normally use flare nozzles when I'm using my lock line, and I can crank them up higher without blowing and get the flow higher without blowing the seahorses around with the flare nozzles.
Well, I'm going to take that advice, but let me get through the tank real quick.
Okay.
So the skimmer,
Okay.
anyone who uses this skimmer, I want advice on this too. It's from Innovative Marine. It's the Nuvo mid-size. It works, but the only way to adjust it is this little thing that you can move up and down to make it get more or less. But you can't do much else. And it's full every day, so I'm curious about adjustments on that. And then on this side, I have a UV sterilizer. And that might be going bye-bye because I was really only using it because of the bacterial bloom. But there might be a sock over there. So that's really the filtration. Then, of course, we've got the rock and macros. And then for added flow, I added this little internal skimmer deal. Not skimmer. It's not a power hat. Little internal filter that blows. And I pointed it downward. You can't really see. But I pointed it downward to try to get the ground. So now, to the flow. The flow originally had to, I showed you guys last week, fanned out pieces. But the problem was, even though they would adjust, they're literally just smacking this wall and kind of doing, there's no method to the flow, is the best way I can say it. And the seahorses just don't seem to swim around at all. That guy just was, but usually they don't. And then in a minute, I'm going to turn the flow off and show you guys they come out, right? So I just want tips like what Cheryl just said. The reason I left this one open, I'm sorry. I used the lock line based on suggestions from another week. And the point was, it allows you to move it. Like that one's supposedly hitting the down part. So this one, I wanted one that was going to create that surface agitation and go ahead and smack the front of the tank. Because I just think that makes flow, whatever. And then, and by the way, I might just need more and in a more particular placement because those pumps, those pumps are only 250 gallons per hour each. So for a 40-gallon all-in-one that does have probably 5 to 10 in the back, but still, you're only got 500 gallon per hour flow. And then this thing, I don't even know how much there's in there, but not much. So anyways, I want one smack in the front, and I was going to put the fan piece that was originally back here attached. I can't get it on there. I tried you guys' trick with hot water, I can't get it on there. So it was Dan's suggestion, just leave it open, but I'm willing to listen to anything else. Second one, I was pointing it downward thinking create a circular flow kind of thing, especially because I want the water to come up here to the sock, right? And once I change that out for a sock, that will be different. But anyways, so unfortunately, even though this is pointed literally straight down, it's, sorry about the glare, guys. And there is some rock in the way, but I was feeling like that should be taking care of this snail shit. Oops, poop. You know? It's not moving it at all. So it's like...
Have you tried running them in opposite directions? One to the left, one to the right?
I can.
And so they kind of converge in the middle and create a turbulence. And
yeah.
Are you following me?
I mean, I'm willing to listen. Whoops, I'm trying to do two things.
I run mine, and I usually have at least minimum of 2, and sometimes 3 or more returns in a tank. And I typically run them in opposite directions. And then I have an open-ended air line on one side. And bottom line is, after each feeding, anything that isn't eaten is going to be in the far right back corner. Makes it really easy to clean.
Right. That's what I want. Even if I can't keep the floor constantly clean with flow, because I know they need some areas of, low flow. I would love for it to pile up in one spot instead of there and back there and back here and back there. It's just, it's crap, isn't it, dude? We don't like it.
The only other thing I could think of would be to get a power head or a wave maker and put it down lower in the tank, and that would push all the food and detritus into one corner.
So when I feed them in just a second, you'll see they come out a little bit more, and maybe these seahorses are just not as active as ones I've had before. But I really do believe that the flow is affecting things, whether it's too low or too high. Maybe it's not enough. Like you just said, maybe I need a power head. But
Hey,
Mine
mine
don't
get blasted to the
function all
surface
the
if they go
time
near the
unless
airline.
they're mating.
what was it, Holly?
I was saying mine aren't active all the time either, unless they're trying to court.
Right. See,
They
maybe it's
generally
just
they're
me.
active like in the early morning, like when the lights are low, and then in the evening when the lights go low. Sometimes during the daytime, like when they're courting, they're active all the time, like all day, evening, morning. But other than that, they're pretty quiet most of the day. They cruise around the tank from spot to spot, but they're not actively swimming and hanging out really most of the time.
That's one thing I've had. The erectus I had years ago that I got from Draco Marine were very, very active. And then
Right.
I subsequently got some from other people, and they were diurnal basically. They were busy first thing in the morning and in the evenings at dusk. The ones I have now, the only time they are hitched is when there are no lights on.
Yeah. See, I guess I'm listening to you guys. It may just be the seahorses I have now, which is not a problem. I love them. I'm just not used to. I'm always worried something's wrong, because here
So
I am
is that
supposed to be the
maybe
darn
something
seahorse
in
whisperer, and I
breeding?
can't figure out why they're not coming.
Is that something in breeding, maybe you think? Is that like a trait that can be bred for, or?
I, based on what I've read, they have selected for a very outgoing, active kind of personality. And I'm
Uh-huh.
not sure. I think possibly because of the tours that they do,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of their stock gets handled a lot more than most seahorses get handled.
Yes.
And I think that because these seahorses, they see me, and the only thing they associate me with is food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the moment they see me,
Whoops.
and I even turn up just the actinic lights on the tank first thing in the morning when it's still dark out, they're already
Yeah.
at the front of the tank and will follow me across the tank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm used to.
That's
I'm used to
food.
seahorses that if you walk past the tank, they're begging. And I mean, whoops. Oh, sorry. Um, you can see he's getting around. He's not even hitched to anything. So maybe it's not enough flow. I do know, I'll say this final thing before I feed him. When I first got my very first seahorses, they were not active at all. And I was like, well, this isn't much fun, you know? And then when I added a power head, I actually have a video about it. When I added a power head, it changed everything. They were flow dancing. So maybe it is more flow. But even if Harkin, Salty, any of you guys, if you're not able to jump in today, um, now you see what I'm dealing with. I will try to poke it in a different direction. I might even put on gloves and do it right now. But yeah, maybe I need more. I saw that there was a really great maxi jet, I think it's called, mini jet, something like that. I think it's Innovative Marine. That's a lot higher power than those two little dinkers would be. So maybe I could use a Y piece to give it more from the outlet. And I like Cheryl's thing about taking that off. But if I can't get the fanned pieces on, should I just leave it open? Thoughts?
I probably would. The other thing I'm thinking too is okay, my seahorses, their favorite hitches are the old artificial octopus corals that I have had for years. I don't even you can find them. To this day, everything that comes in my house spends more time on the octopus coral because they feel hidden in there. Because
Ah,
there's so many pieces to go upright. They get in next to them, and from their perspective, you can't see them. Well, I can
right,
see them perfectly well, but they don't know that.
right.
And it's not just my erectus. My combs do it too. In fact, you probably seen some of my pictures with the green coral that they're hitting to. That is a very, very old octopus coral that I've had for years. My combs do the same exact thing.
Well,
They love
that's interesting. I mean, I have seen, let me turn this back on. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once, guys. I'm not very talented at this. Anyways, you can see the yellow, like literally reaches the top of the water. And I've seen the males go right up to the top and hitch up there. Just not often. You know, most of the time they're just chilling. Can't even find
Mine
a girl.
do actually blow bubbles up there because they'll hang up on my top return nozzle with the top of their head practically out of the water.
Oh, jeez.
And little bubbles come up. They squirt water now and then.
Gotcha.
Yeah, mine will do that. Then they get up high. You get little
Yeah, you
spots of
see
water.
water squirt out the
Oh,
tank.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with the octopus coral, but that's everybody's favorite.
Mhm.
Okay, so I turned the flow off, and we'll just see. They probably won't do it, of course, now because I said they would. But usually they come out more when
But
the
you're
flow's
taking a
off.
picture and they know you're talking too,
I
so they
mean, I
know
know.
something's
And there's food. See, mine know when I turn off the pump because I use the feed feature. So when the pump goes off, they know they're going to get fed.
Right. The other thing that's very interesting to me is I have been turning off. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once. I have been turning off the flow because she likes to eat off the floor. She doesn't want to
Yeah.
chase it. These guys don't at all. They do not like eating off the floor. They will, but
Yeah.
they'll like wait until I turn the flow back on. So fun times for me.
No, I have a mix like that too. It's a pain in the butt trying to feed everybody because they all have their preferences.
Yep.
well, it's like my erectus. The moment they see me coming up, they're ready for food, and they're hitting the food as soon as it hits the water. My combs, they're like, I'll get over there, Mignonne, to the feeding station.
Yeah.
They're they're different species. They're different personalities.
And I know you're right. I just really let me make this big. Maybe.
Mine were so lazy they wouldn't leave the return nozzles to go get food, so I stuck a dish under them so they can reach it from the return nozzle.
They're all different.
And I mean, see, she comes out now, but yeah, she does not like being on video. She's like, "Go away, lady." And then once he's done being interested in food, he'll be on her for sure. And then Mr. Guy just kind of stays out of the way. I mean, I'm loving it. I'm learning. You know, this just goes to show, no matter how many Sears tanks you kept, they can be different. You know.
They're they're their own horse, so to speak,
Yeah.
and they're going to do what they're comfortable with.
Right. I just am curious. Anybody watching this at home later or whatever? Like, I think it's flow. That's all I'm gonna say. I think it's flow because I've just never. But it makes me feel better to hear that you guys have had seahorses.
Mine too. Yeah, I feel that
Yeah.
way too because I don't think I've got my flow down. And frankly, I think in my display tank, I don't think it has enough because it has only one return nozzle and that's it.
Mm,
And so, yeah, I'd like to add some maybe wave makers or things like that, or powerhead or something, just so they have more and different.
yeah.
And adjust the ones. I've got two nice big lock line ones in my grow out tank, but I haven't played with it enough to figure out where exactly I like it. And I think I'm going to try again what Cheryl said with one going one way
Yep.
and the other going the other way, and maybe just move some of their decorations around because nothing's attached. It's all plastic decorations, so I can play with that too.
Yeah,
See,
How many
it's one of those
gallons is
things.
this tank, Kelly?
I'll answer you, Ray. But do you see how stubborn this little butthead is? He does not like eating it off the ground. He'll like move it around. Okay, anyways,
Yeah.
sorry, Ray. It is only 40 gallons total. So that includes this very narrow, long thing, which was my mistake for choosing that shade. Could have done cube. And then a really nicely sized compartment.
So to
So,
put things in perspective, my 40-gallon tanks, I had three 400-gallon per hour power heads
see.
in the tank.
Hmm.
One would be somewhat restricted because putting a quick flow filter on it. The other two, no restriction. I also had a 400-gallon per hour returning, which wouldn't be 400 coming out because of the head. Plus, I have a little, put a little mini one in, mini power head that I'm guessing is around 100 gallons per hour. It's unrestricted. And then in addition to that, two open-ended air lines.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to say Ray's advice is get more flow.
Well, it's even like my nursery tubs. I'm running pumps that are rated for the 300 gallons, 300 gallons per hour on a 20-gallon nursery tub. You know, it does have an adjustable flow, and I do modify it as they mature.
Hmm.
But that's quite a bit of flow for the little guys. But it's all in how you direct it.
Well, I honestly can admit publicly here, this just goes to show, again, no matter how long you've been doing this, you can be
Actually, you're
dumb.
doing great.
You can be
The
dumb.
seahorses look happy. They're looking good. The tank looks beautiful. It,
Oh,
I
I hate
still,
that green thing. That was
I
for
still
a
play
fry
with the
tank,
tank.
but I just threw it in. Anyways,
I mean,
I
I
appreciate that,
still go in and
Cheryl.
change things. Yeah, I put a power head in that was a little too strong and ended up with snow, which was actually sand all over one tank here last
Hmm.
week. Oops.
Yep. Well, we all learn as we go, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna, in the meantime, I'm gonna move that one this way. But question: at this point, should I point it downward? So it's like
But
on that one.
I point mine kind of at an angle downwards. I don't let
Okay.
them, I don't drop them all the way down at an angle. I want some, my surface agitation comes in from my airlines. So I'm not
Oh.
worried about that. So I have them bent more coming at on either opposite directions and down, bending part way down.
So maybe instead of this one smacking right into the glass, turn it to where it's kind of
Yeah.
angled that way down, but
Well, the
still
thing is
above the
too,
top, and then this one that way down. Okay.
if you put flare nozzles on them, you can actually turn the nozzle so you
Yeah.
can get some flow at the surface and the majority of it down lower.
Do you have any other tips besides the hot water? Because I cannot get that piece on.
That looks like is that half-inch lock line?
It is half inch.
Okay.
Chris was right.
Uh, Spend the 10 or 11 bucks, get a pair of lock line pliers.
Okay.
My first one, because I finally got, my hands have been getting so sore with everything I've been doing the last couple of weeks. And I was putting together a 3/4 inch lock line. And I finally said, enough. And I ordered, they came today. And it took me about 15 seconds to assemble both of them with the flare nozzles.
Oh, wow.
And it was
Sounds
huge.
like a good tool.
Flare nozzles, though, are going to cut down on the amount of flow overall.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's the accelerator nozzles tend to put it out in a small area. The accelerator or the flare nozzles spread it out more, so you're not getting as much direct flow.
What
But
about
anything
the
that restricts it, like if it's going to direct it instead of straight out without any encumbrance, if it's going to direct it into another direction,
Hmm.
like fanning it out, that's restriction, and your overall flow is going to go down. If you
Yeah,
put on like that yellow tip on the end of the blue there, to me, looks like the output on that is smaller than what the lock line interior dimension is, so that's going to be a restriction.
You're
You're
right.
not actually
Cheryl
getting,
said that too.
you're not actually getting the flow that's rated for.
I was being selfish. I wanted the snail poop to go bye bye. And so I wanted it to really blow that corner, but it didn't work out anyways. So I'm gonna try what you guys were saying, and I will order today the higher rated pump, and then make sure that at least this is turned up all the way. So that's one more question, guys. So I'm gonna do what Cheryl said. I'm gonna do what Ray said. Take that off. Try to put the fan on. If not, at least get that off for now. And then angle them as they described. How should I angle this? Because I
by the way,
currently have
Kelly,
it to where it's literally like pointed like that. So it's hitting like in here. Go ahead.
when you go to take those nozzles off,
Mm-hmm.
boil a glass of water, dip them in, let them sit there for till they're almost too hot to touch, and they just pop apart.
Oh, I can't zoom in. Just trying to show you.
So you can easily remove that accelerator nozzle just using some boiling water.
Okay, well I did try the boiling water, but I'll try it again. And I'll just get the pliers.
Those VCA nozzles we were talking about last week. Was it Chris that brought those up? Who brought that up?
I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounded interesting to me. Did you see any of those or try them at all? Or
I haven't yet, to be honest. But I will. And yeah, I'm just curious to
Can you
anybody who
hear
watches
mine?
later what you would do, and if your seahorses are chillax like these guys. I mean, I love them. It's awesome to have them, but I just always worry that, and we'll see. It'll be very interesting if when I add more flow and correct the flow, if they don't become more active, because I know that did happen in my first tank. But what were you saying, Ray?
That may be part of why mine are so active too. Is I'm running enough flow that I turn off the pumps and just leave it at surface agitation. Well, agitation from an airline going. It blows the food everywhere. As soon as I turn on those pumps, within a couple of minutes, all the food is in one corner of the tank.
Yeah. See, and I mean, I know for a fact that these guys would chase the food. They do. I'll show you guys when I turn the pumps back on, and the little bit of food left that I should be getting, but I'm not going to show you guys. They'll go try to catch it out of the air, and so will she, but she's just stubborn. She won't leave her hitch. She's so pretty though.
Yeah. The other thing as I said, the other thing you could do too is if you can find any of those artificial octopus coral, the ones my love were actually made in the UK and they've been out of business for years. But I found like a half a dozen of them used from a reefer and picked up some more.
Do you guys see this little butthead seahorse? She's like, I want that food, but get that camera away from me. All right. Anyways.
They love those.
Well, I appreciate you guys at least looking through it with me, giving me your thoughts, and I will do the corrections. I'm not going to try to do it holding the phone. It's not going to work out.
Oh, come on. You can do this one-handed.
But I will do it and post later about it and let you guys know next week what happened. And if they start swimming around crazy when I add the flow, I'll definitely let everybody know that one. But
then we'll know that's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I did the same thing, and this is for Holly in my nursery tubs. Sometimes I actually run 3 returns in them. The 2 main ones that when they're dry or little, I direct them toward the filtration because they can get sucked against it. And what I do is I use a Pete lock line thing, which I direct toward it, and it just keeps moving them around and keeps them from ever getting stuck on the overflow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, one more question before I turn this back on, and then it's been about 10 minutes, I think. Those things are ugly. Who the hell wants blue and orange? You know, it ruins everything. So they do have black options, right? You can just buy black.
It doesn't encourage them to turn yellow for you.
I don't even care. I just don't like it. It looks stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's these blue arms in the back of the tank. Yeah. So, but they make them in black, right?
I was just saying, I'd never seen him in blue. I've only seen black.
My luck.
What, Kelly? Can you turn that light down so they do have more blue and less white? You might see an increase in activity with that also.
Okay, let's see. Because I did have it really white. so you guys could see. But let's see if I turn this. Okay, that's white 0. That's too
Okay,
low.
hold it there. Now
Okay.
let's see what they do if you, because sometimes the light will kind of make them hide.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe.
I think
Sorry, I don't mean to keep moving
right
around,
in
but
my
I'm trying to.
display tank. And I always think that too, because they're more active. Mine's like the fancy, yeah, pinnacle lights and moonlight, on the timers. And so, yeah, the first part of the day and the end of the day, when it's the blue lighting, that's when they're the most active.
I run my tanks. I've got reef breeder photons on several of my tanks, and 90% of the time I'm using the blues. And when I do have full lighting, which I only do for feeding time, uh, it's everything is on the lowest power that they can possibly be on.
Oh, I just thought of something while I got you guys. I want to ask. I'm starting to have trouble with my lights. I have a current orbit marine light that's probably about 5 years old. When it comes on in the morning, it's flashing like a disco. But if I take the remote control and I switch it to like yellow or white light for a little while and then switch it back the programming to that 10x, it'll straighten out and stop flashing. Does that mean the light itself is going out or the remote, or anybody know anything about that?
It sounds like you may have a short on that light frequency if it's flickering.
Yeah, because I'll switch as programmed like 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
So I have it on 1, but if I switch it on to like a cloudy day setting and then for a little while and then switch it to program 2, it'll straighten out. And then in a little while, I can put it back to program 1.
Sounds like you may have a short, and once it gets enough juice going through there, do you have any kind of a tester that you can test for voltage?
My mother-in-law does. She's an electrician, so
Send her to my house.
yeah. So you think there may be a short in it?
There may be a short, maybe
And it
nothing
doesn't
more than a
happen
loose
all
wire.
the time. It's happening more and more often, but it doesn't happen every day.
Interesting.
It started out, it would happen once in a while, but it's happening more often. And I tried to call them, and of course, it was like everywhere else during COVID. We don't have enough people to take your call or whatever. I sent them an email, and they replied back close to a week later. By that time, it had straightened out.
Well, on the light question, Holly, I'm going to listen to this when I'm not like holding a phone and trying to do all that. Because with those timer lights, I've had them before too. This one is also.
Now, see, the male is, since you turn the lighting down, you notice the one male is staying out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they'll stay out. They just always stay hitched, which is just different to me. I think that your tip on the lighting, even though, guys, listen, screw the seahorses. I don't like this. I'm just kidding. But I hate a bunch of blue. But maybe I can see if I can do less white or something, just a mix that'll work. But see, I do have I'm trying to start macro again. So I've got that, I've got codium over there. So that needs light. So maybe I'll put the codium and the macros in the big tank and just leave this seahorses, because I know you're right, Cheryl. If the light's not right, they ain't happy.
Well, it's like my tank, my 58 that I've got from BioRecticent, which are, as I've already said, they're perpetual motion. That tank is actually being lit by a Marineland submersible 12-inch wand. Think about that one. That is virtually, and it's only lit on one side of the tank because it doesn't stretch 36 inches.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Well, I think I have a couple of things I can try to fix: lighting, flow, And then I'm just gonna have to make him quit being a bully to her.
Yeah, don't fight with that lock line. Just spend the 10 or $11 and get a pair of lock line pliers. And everybody will tell you, oh, they're terrible to use. You can't figure out how to make them work. And like I said, I popped two things together in less than 30 seconds.
Gotcha.
Just got to look at them.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
I
last thing I
figure
wanted to
out the
show.
castration tool, I think I could figure out that.
Yeah, it's the
Right.
same principle. Yeah.
Well, if I can't, I'm coming back on next week. But I
And
wanted
why does Holly have a castration tool? To
to.
put the rings on the bags to ship fish.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to close up in case anybody disagrees. I think Ray, I think all of you are right. I think it's just not enough flow. Look at how swallow. Look how slow.
Well, have any of you watched the Seahorses in Susan Hoffner's Seahorse
Oh, yeah.
tank? If you watch them, they're constantly fighting the current.
Yep. That's how my tank usually are. And like it was just because my whole thing was just because it's so narrow this way. I just was
Yeah, but
worried
I
it
mean,
would be too much. But I think you guys are right.
you
I
can
appreciate you.
you can do wave makers and get pumps and stuff, and I mean, there's ways around it.
Yeah, I can see like
The tank is a beautiful tank.
Probably cheaper to put in power heads than buy new pumps to use a higher outflow through your lock line.
That's true. Maybe I should just leave the two pumps and then get a better. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be another option.
Absolutely. But yeah, I haven't been able to read the comments, and I will in a moment. But Dylan's definitely interested if yours is a cube or if it's this long deal. That was my mistake, getting the long deal. I really thought it'd be cool, but I don't like it now. And then curious about the skimmer you use, how it works, and all-in-one, not all-in-one, ATO too, because that's the other thing I absolutely do not like about this tank. Sorry, I'm a little echoey, but it goes down so fast. Like daily, I'm having to top off, and then you got to worry about salinity, and you got to worry about all the crap. So I'm wanting to do an all keep saying all one, an ATO. So any suggestions, guys, on a good one? Let me know. All right, now I'm going to turn this off and join the conversation if I can. Okay, let's see. Whoops. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to leave on this. And okay, there we have it. And I don't know, I think anybody watching at home, I don't know if I can make my webcam work again. Nope, it's still going to show the ceiling. So you don't get to see my wonderful face. I bet nobody's going to complain. Anyways, so what else we got to talk about, guys? Or I've kind of taken the whole hour, I know. Sorry.
So what recommendations do you guys have as far as wave makers? Because I've never had one. So what's a good one, what to look for, that sort of thing.
The problem with the wave makers is ones that actually work the way they're supposed to are not cheap. Because what you really want to get is an adjustable one, whether it be a gyre or a Nero or one of those. Or what is the other one? I forget it. But there's several really well rated, but they're very expensive. And you'll find that the less expensive ones, A, they don't move water worth a darn. B, they tend to conk out on you in no time.
Gotcha. How do you feel about power heads then? Is that,
I have old power heads. Years ago I bought a bunch of Marineland power heads and actual utility pumps, and they actually come with little kits, so you can actually get it so it'll spin as the water goes through, and that gives you a real nice circulation. You have to be careful you don't put too much power into it, but it'll circulate through the whole tank, and it's not expensive. The attachment is like $10. a MaxiJet utility pump, the power heads,
Mhm.
fits right on there. The only biggest problem is when the suction cups get old, they don't stick like they used to.
Yeah, I have an old power head. I don't even know what it is, but it doesn't move. It doesn't circulate. You know, it blows one direction. And I want to say the pump is part of it, like it's all in
Well,
one.
the attachments you buy separately because they're who are they manufactured by? I'll have to pull it up and send it to you because but basically it's like a hose that fits on the end of the power head.
I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure
And
I
then
know what you're talking about. But yeah, when you
yeah,
if you can find it, Cheryl, put a link in the comments too, or
okay,
send it
yeah,
to me and I will. Real quick, I wanted to say too, Holly, I personally like. I got the Jabeo, and we're talking about a much bigger tank. So, well,
That's
you
what
have
I
a bigger
use
tank.
for my pumps is the Jabeo, and I
Yeah, I
like.
got a Jabeo wave maker. They don't last forever, that's for sure. But if you get them from a place that provides the warranty, then you're good there.
Mhm.
And I always get an overrated because you can always dial it down. And then it's got the feed
Mhm.
mode and it's got you can make the waves different. I like them. So I'm going to
Okay,
go
I'll make
different
a
than
note.
Cheryl on
Now
that.
I've been using those for the pumps after Dan
Hmm.
recommended that. They're adjustable, same thing. Actually, I have it sitting here. Or have
Yeah.
use.
Yep.
And
That's what I have in my tank too. The bigger one.
I've been happy with it.
Dylan's. I see the questions in the comments from Chimp and Dylan's. I will say them in a minute. But he also said, and it's a good reminder, Holly. Even though like the Jabeo wave maker that I got, the slits are really small.
Mhm.
But they now sell sponge coverings, or you can use,
Oh, that you can buy separately for it.
right. Well, you know what I used, and I can put up a picture when we're done. I used plastic mesh, 10 cents
yeah.
at the hobby store.
Like yeah, like what I use for
Yeah.
my overflow
Yes.
dog
Exactly.
screen,
And I would
dog
just
door screen.
Yep. But I in my picture where I have the seahorse hitched on the wave maker, he's hitched onto the cord and then he's laying against the net and he's got his face in the flow. But his tail could get caught if you don't have it covered. So good point. Thank you, Dylan's. And Chimp, you said you have some 3/4 inch lock line. Unfortunately, this is 1/2 inch. But thank you, and I can't wait to see you at Wrap. Chimp also said Tunes ATO is a great one. I will look it up. And Dylan's yours is a 16-inch tall, 32-inch wide, and 16-inch long bow front. Okay, okay. So how many gallons is that? I'm curious. Because mine's like 16 tall, 36 wide, and I'm thinking 18. The last one, what is that? Height? I don't know. What's the third one, you guys? I feel so stupid. Width, length.
Length, width, and height,
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm probably messing it up. But,
or
anyways,
depth, if you want to call it that.
right. And then Dylan said, you have the Flugel. I'm sorry. You have the Flugel Mega Flex. That's your tank, okay? And curious though, do you have a skimmer on it, Dylan's, and what kind is it? Because I don't have anything bad to say about this Innovative Marine midsize. I just wish I wish I could learn from someone else who's got an all-in-one how to adjust it to make it work the way I want it to. Because that little um, oh, it's not an O-ring. The little rubber bandy thing is not cutting it for me.
Yeah.
uh,
I used
and
to have some external or well, they're internal filters, so
yep.
skimmers that were manufactured like that, and they drove me nuts.
Hmm. Well, I knew that doing an all-in-one was going to be a challenge. That's the point. Is I'm showing you
Mm.
guys as I go that I have difficulties myself, and when I figure things out, I will share so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. And but I definitely think I'm glad I did this because I think Ray, you especially helped me with comparing what you use in a 40-gallon tank for flow because I'm
Mhm.
way under that, and I think I've been so worried about it being too much that I forgot my own logic, knowing that they like a lot. So
Yeah.
Those power heads that I that I use, they changed the name on them now, but I put, on the Facebook page, I put, the link, but it didn't come up in a link form. So they're Hagen power heads, and it's A570, and they're 400 gallons per hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I get little baskets from the hydroponic store, just little tiny small ones, and I glue them onto the intake to keep tails and that from getting sucked up, or even getting the seahorses sucked up against the intake. And it's a cheap way to protect it, and the darn things seem to last. They just go on and go on. Like I
Cool.
say in there, I don't have any that are less than 15 years old. Most of them are 25 range, and some are from back in 93 when I first started.
Gee, Ray, you're starting to sound like me.
Now, Hagen, that's German, sounds like. They German?
I
Hagen?
pronounce it Hagen.
Hagen,
Is
yeah.
that a German company? It sounds German. They make stuff that lasts forever.
Yeah,
The other thing that you can do if you have extra pumps like I do, I was talking about the things that rotate that you can do to make wave makers. They're made by Hydor, Hydor, and they come with multiple attachments, so they'll fit on just about any kind of pump you want to play with. And they're like $8 or $10.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Hey, and another comment from Dylan was about the lighting schedule where it goes up and down. I did try to do this, but like this is a knockoff light. So it just, I don't know. I don't usually, I need to mess more with the settings. So I'm curious what your settings are. Definitely let me know. And now I can't wait to play with this and try to get more flow in there and see if it helps them out. Because,
what
yeah.
is it with everybody seems to like actinic?
You mean the blues?
Yeah.
I don't like them. I hate them. I like whites. But
Well, I see
Cheryl was
so many tanks, and they got the blues turned up, and it just freaks me out.
well on a Seahorse tank of
Actually
blue. It doesn't
fond
work.
of them, but it came with my thing. And the thing is, because I have live rock in there, there's sponges and weird things,
Right.
you know.
They don't need blue light.
Well, yeah, they do. It like macros and coral and stuff do need some blue. They really do. I mean, I could have just put, and I may go back to it. I could have. Dan's suggestion was just to put like a, par 38 or whatever over it, because that would be a good enough for macros. But in Holly's case with coral, you do need you got to have some blue. I don't like it either, Ray. But if the seahorse, Cheryl kind of proved a point. They were more. I don't know if you guys can see them. She's right there. He's right there. They're kind of more active. Now that I've turned the white on, let's see if they go
Now
back
you
down.
poked your finger at them. Now they're going to go hide again.
Right. Oh, but do you
Yeah.
see that she just ate the flow food? So, yeah, I'm thinking more flow for sure.
My abs tank has a power compact bulb on the wall above the tank.
Yep.
It's a 60 watt equivalent.
Right.
And my
Well,
go out tank, I'm using a shop light when I need lighting, but actually they're just straight daylight most of the time. I don't even use a light.
I do ambient lighting predominantly.
I have a
right.
lot of windows and then I have skylights, so it stays fairly bright in here during
Well,
the day.
that was my. Sorry, I'm trying to stick my head in the camera. Hi. I'm using the actual laptop camera, so sorry. I probably should get my face out of it. Anyways, I thought about that, Ray, but I don't know if it's even going to show it. But it's not going to show it. Okay, my ceiling is angled and it's not real sturdy. This was the last place I had because I've got tanks all over the dang house. So this was the last place that I had to put a tank. It's in front of a window. I got the light blocking shades, and yeah, I think I just made a mistake trying to put macro in. I was trying to recreate my first tank, but since I'm doing this new system, I think I should have just stuck with seahorses and fake and rock, because my rock doesn't have coral. It's been recycled and all that good stuff. So maybe I will move the macro to the big tank and ditch the light completely. That's an
Well,
idea.
there's some macros that don't require much light to grow at all.
Right.
I have a couple different types of macros, and I use very
Leathers and
minimal
beans.
lighting.
Hmm. Yeah, I hate that green thing. That's going out. I know it's not very focused, guys. It's because I'm literally trying to angle my computer to show it. Sorry. But we're almost done, anyways. Yeah. Anyways, now we know I can jump in on the phone, but then I lose my cam for the rest of it. Whoops. But I want to say very, very much thank you to everybody in the comments, and thank you, Ray, Holly, and Cheryl, and anybody who watches later in comments. Really appreciate it because, sometimes I need your help. Hey, we're always here for anybody who has questions, but sometimes I have some. So I really appreciate all of you. But anything else, guys? I'm sorry, I know we've jumped around a bit, and I'm like trying to do too many things, so I'm not paying very good attention. But was there anything else I missed in the comments, or anything else that you guys
I think that
suggestions?
tank's gonna be beautiful if you stick it out with it once you get it to where you want it. I
Mhm.
really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope so. I'll tell you, the one thing that I regret the most is another thing Ray talked about. I wish I would have either used sand or not added snails because it would be beautiful without the snail poop everywhere. It's just, you know, I mean, rocks.
Don't have snails.
Yep.
I've
Yes.
never, in all my years of seahorse keeping, never had a snail in the tank.
Wow. See, I just always have. I don't know, and if I had more macro to cover stuff, it'd be different. And I'd need them to clean up and stuff. But I just think if I ever do another tank, I'm gonna either do sand or no snails. That's the kicker. Either I'm gonna be the maintenance, or I'm gonna have sand to cover up the poop. And
Yeah. Oh, Kelly, the other thing you could do, go get them some amphipods or
Yep.
peppermint shrimp or something like that. That'll get them moving around.
Yep. No, I actually already ordered some, so great suggestion. But I did. I ordered mysids too. But I mean, you can. I don't know if you can see them because it's so far away. But I think she went back to hiding. Well, she's not. She's just hitched over here. He's still up and about looking for her probably. And then other boy is back in his little favorite spot. They like this rock way over here because it's very, angled and lots of.
Now,
things
see, your
sticking out.
mail is coming out. There he goes.
Yep. I don't know what that was about, but anyways, and I see that Chimp said you like high door. I'm trying to see what you guys were talking about. The high door pumps or
It's
I don't like the high door pumps at all. I have one and puts out like 0 water. I mean, but the little turny things, if you put them on to something like a Marineland utility pump or something like that, those things will really blow some water around.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna rewatch this afterwards, guys, so I can actually pay attention to what was being said and take all of your suggestions and come back next week. And we probably won't do this again because I want to be able to talk to you guys and pay attention. But I'll definitely update you on how it's going. And I wanted to mention too. Hi. Anybody who ever wants to show their tank, come in here. I'd be happy to let you in, and you can do just what I did and show us, your seahorses. Talk about them. Tell us how your tank's set up. We'd love to see them. That's what we plan to do from the very beginning, and then, as you can see, it just gets complicated. But now that I got it, we'd love to see your tanks too. So.
Well, tanks are designed by a committee. It's like all my reefer friends, they all work together too.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have any kind of a problem, they might get 5 different suggestions of how to correct it, but then they can make the decision as to how they want to proceed.
Right.
And it makes all the difference in the world, particularly if you're experimenting and trying to do something different.
Yes. And this has been, I mean, like I've said it a couple times, but this has been something new to me. I've never done an all-in-one. I've always been highly dependent on a sump and skimmer, and we'll figure it out. We will figure it out, and then hopefully it'll help someone in the future. But, it's a learning curve.
tell you though, there's days I miss my old canister filter days when I'm cleaning tanks and scrubbing tanks and then have to scrub another tank because it's a sump. And I'm like, how did I get into this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't miss my canister when it's sitting down in the basement there. It has been for at least 17 years.
Well, I got rid of all mine.
Yeah.
All
But
of
the
them.
pain in the ass to clean them.
Yeah,
Yeah, they are.
You know what though?
absolutely.
I keep a canister, the one that I used on the Burberry tank. I keep that because, for instance, I told the story already. I won't do it again. But when I dumped in too much bacteria because I was second guessing myself, this tank was a big, huge cloud. There's pictures online, and I hadn't gotten to know Aquachar yet. And so the first time that it went crazy, Dan suggested, and I threw on a canister with a bunch of floss, and it really did clear it up in a few days. Then it happened again because my silly butt forgot to clean everything out from the back, like the padding that I have under the sponges. I didn't take that out, so it's still covered in bacteria. So it got cloudy again, and that time, that's when I added the little blue internal filter with the Aquachar. I forgot to mention that. There's actually Aquachar in the cheers
Mhm.
away.
Nice.
There's actually Aquachar in the sponge in this little internal filter. So, and when I added that, man, it cleared it up in 24 hours. It was really cool. So I'm getting to learn like the chemical filtration and the tricks to keeping a smaller tank. Because I did start off with a 20-gallon tank, but I within months added a sump. You know what I mean? So, and I've kept seahorses in smaller tanks, like when I get a species and just a pair of a certain species, I might keep them in a smaller tank, but I just haven't experienced the long one. I'll quit rambling. That's the end of the story. So it's interesting. Hopefully, I'll end up loving it. Got to get there though.
Well, the thing is, my attitude with this is if we don't experiment, if we don't try new stuff,
Yeah,
then we're never going to learn and we're never going to improve.
true
So
that.
this is how we learn. This is how we improve what we're doing.
And the full advice for this entire episode is if you do go with Lockline, don't get blue and orange because it looks really stupid. But anyways, all right, guys. Well,
Oh, there goes the female. She just took off from her rock and went into another one.
Oh, there she went.
And she was doing a motorboat routine. She just stuck her head out.
I believe you. And I'm telling you, this boy's probably looking for her. He will. He's
Yeah,
not
he's
doing it,
there.
of course, because the
And
camera's on. But
she took off, motorboated from here. See, there she is.
yep, there she is. They're good seahorses. They're beautiful. I love them. I want them to be happy so much that I want to get it perfect. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
we'll get there. But I'm thinking your light tricks might be part of it, Cheryl. She hasn't gone into hiding. Maybe she doesn't like that bright ass light.
She's coming out.
Yeah.
Chris says paint the lock line.
Paint the lock line? What kind of paint can you put in salt water? Oh,
Well,
Chris.
I'm trying to, I can't think
There's
of the name of it
marine
now. I'd
paint.
have to go down in the basement, get the can and
Is it Krylon?
Krylon, that's it.
Yeah, they make marine paint.
No kidding. See, I'm so
Yeah.
silly. And Chris is in here. Hey, Chris, you could have jumped in, but I'm assuming that their suggestions were pretty adequate. So if you have any further suggestions about angling and using the fan, as Cheryl was saying, I'm all ears. I don't think I'm seeing the comments. Right. I don't see them. Oh, it's Chris Carey. Sorry. Yep. Maybe I will paint the lock line. Hey, Chris Carey. Hope you're doing well. And Krylon, he says yes. That's what I'll do. But Chris, if you did just jump in and you have any suggestions, we've decided that we need more flow in this tank, not less. And so I'm gonna play with some angling, add maybe either a wave maker or get a higher rated pump. I was thinking that it was too little flow. No, I think it's too much. And we decided the light was too bright. So, any other tips? I'm all ears.
Get an adjustable pump if you can,
Mm-hmm.
because that way you can completely control how much flow you're going to put through a system.
Right. And those are adjustable, but they're not adjustable. Like they don't have the controller. They're just the
Now,
cheap ones.
most of my pumps are adjustable. Well, all my pumps are adjustable, but they're going back over 15 years.
Right.
And the only way you adjust them is you stick your hand in the sump and adjust them.
Right. Well, and that's what these are. I'd love to get the controller though. And look, they're see, every time I don't like something, they do. They're all looking for this stupid green neon fake looking thing. Good Lord.
Now
I
you
think you're
can't
right though. I
take it.
think they're hoping there's like pods in there or something because I was gonna use it in a fry tank that I'm not gonna end up setting up because
Hey,
things fell through. And now I
look at
put
what
it
the
in
male's
here.
doing with you. You're waving the food
Yeah,
feeder,
you're
right?
right. The,
Oh,
the
yeah.
food one.
Back to
And
the,
he saw it, and
Yeah.
he was definitely looking.
I'm like, that's why they're active. They see you waving the magic wand.
They
in front
probably
of
do. I'm such a jerk. Just see if they'll get it floating. I'm not turning it off again, but anyways. This guy's really seeming to like this green thing though. Anyways, I know I'm just rambling. But yeah, I really appreciate all the tips and sometimes you guys gotta help me. That's the way it is. Friendships.
What you
Seahorse.
swam across in the water?
Nothing. What it look like?
It looked like a little round. It looked like a giant copepod.
Oh, I just threw mice in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
But and that's another thing I'm curious about. They've already reassured me, and I feel better. I know these seahorses are healthy and they're doing great. But I'm just curious if all of you guys, how your seahorses act, because that's been another interesting experience to me. Just having seahorses that aren't as active, and we'll see if the flow changes that. And if it doesn't, it's fine. I still love this tank. I still love the seahorses. But I'm just curious what everybody in the comments, how things have gone with you. And hi, Kya. I know that I think Ray and Cheryl were working with you on the side. Good to see you.
One thing about the seahorses that flow, it's gonna have to be adjusted based on their size. And I think that's where a lot of people, they start out at a low flow because they're young, but they never raise it. And that's where they start getting into tank parameter problems and the like.
Yeah.
That little male's going to town now. You got him excited.
Well, like I said, I just added the neon green thing that I do not like at all. It was meant for a fry tank, and it didn't work out. I put it in here just today, or I think it was yesterday. But so they're probably hoping there's food in it, is my guess, because he's sure going in it, looking around.
They like new stuff, though. I've noticed. I trade their stuff out sometimes, and yeah, they like to explore and look at new things.
Yeah.
And then they pick out their favorites.
Yeah, I don't necessarily rearrange tanks, but I'm constantly pulling out hitches because I have extra ones that are, I take one out and it gets put in peroxide and then a new one goes in. But I'll tell you, I moved some rocks around in my Combs tank and put one of the old green octopus coral on top of a big rock in the tank. He was my biggest male. He is in heaven now.
Oh, wow.
He's not receiving that.
I'm going to definitely leave the light lower too, just to see, because I mean, even she didn't go back under her rock. That's really interesting. Were you I'm sorry, did I interrupt you, Cheryl? Were you still
No,
talking?
that's fine. The thing is with lighting, remember, and Lucy will disagree with me on this some because she's found them in very bright, shallow water. But seahorse's primary defense is going to be stealth.
Right.
And if they're not sure about an environment, it's from their perspective, it's much better just to stay safe and stay hidden. And if you reduce the light, then they feel that they're more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I think you might be right. I think the macro might have to go because, yeah, I'll definitely report back, guys, and let you know. But it's looking like even just now they're just staying out more, and he's exploring. And
well, when I bring in new seahorses, the first thing I do is I cut down all of the light I can when I introduce them. And they may be in my house when the only time they get any light other than just ambient lighting coming in through a window. And I do have drapes up also in the fish room. So they're getting virtually no light. and I'll bring it up just a little bit when I feed them. So they learn to associate increasing light with incoming food.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
And,
sense too.
and
Mine do. I plug in the light when it's feeding time, so
exactly.
they know.
And they go, oh boy, it's time to rock and roll.
Well, I'm gonna take all of these tips, implement them, and let you guys know how things change for sure. Oh gosh, I'll
Well,
have to move the Gorgonian too. Oh no, I'm bummed.
yeah, if you read some of the stuff Peter G has done and they put out on OR's website also,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the points that they make is watch your lighting, keep it down low. And they're very, very specific about lighting and color of hitches to bring out the best in the seahorses.
Well, and I know you're right, Cheryl. I tell other people about being careful about lighting because my first pregnant male aborted all his seahorses because I changed the light for a higher wattage light and messed everything up. But I just, it's been a long time since I set up a seahorse tank. So
Mm-hmm.
everything I'm doing, it's like I'm brand new. I second guess everything, and um, so I'm glad you guys are here.
I'll tell you, normally when you
Oh,
see a
look at
picture that
him.
I've taken of a seahorse, I'm normally holding my battery powered spotlight in one hand and my camera in the other because
Yeah.
I don't have enough lighting most of the time in my tanks to really get a clear picture of one of the seahorses.
Wow. Well, I mean, I will say this, and I do have to end this by 10, guys, but I will say this. First of all, say he's way up there now. He saw me pointing, now he's going down, but he is more active right now. And I will say that, in that first tank that I had, after the male aborted the fry when I changed the lighting, then I did a more gradual change to it. He got used to it, and that's how I was able to keep all those macros in that beautiful macro tank. They also got much more active when I added more flow, and then I added
Yep.
a sump and blah blah blah. But these are good tips for anyone new. Start off with low lighting. Make sure you have enough flow because they actually like it, and I'll show you guys the differences. But hopefully I can get them used to it because I really did want to keep macros in here again, but I have other tanks if it
The thing
works out
is,
that way.
there's macros that you can grow. You don't need, depending on the species, you don't necessarily need a huge amount of light. I
Right.
mean, I can guarantee you I could blow a lot of macros and kill them with that reef breeder photons that I've got.
Yeah. No, I mean I know you're right. The dragon's breath up there. The reason I don't know if you saw when I closed up on it, but it's got some clear edges as if it was dying off because I
Mhm.
didn't have any light on. So at least I know that one would have to go somewhere else if I get rid of the light. But
Who's that? Who's that there?
he's
Somebody's moving around.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's way up there.
looking around.
I think the lighting matters.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like, Auntie Cheryl, you were right. Tell her.
yeah. Turn those
But-
lights down, lady.
But anyways, I was gonna say something else to Ray, but now I can't remember what it was. I don't know. I don't
Look
know
at
what it was.
is that her?
No, she's over there. She's not under a rock, but she doesn't like me. I'm serious. She doesn't like me, and she'll literally back up anytime I come up to the tank. She'll eat, but then she'll back up.
Give her
And
time.
I don't think she likes him either. So, but we'll see. He's
Well-
all monkeying it about. That makes me happy. He's looking for her. Look.
Yeah.
Oh, he found her. Oh boy. Sometimes she, I don't know if you guys can see this, but she just leaned in.
Oh, there she is. She's sticking her head out again.
Yeah, so I'm like, sometimes she acts like she does like him. I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it
She
out.
likes to play peekaboo. That's what Sadie does.
That's
She
it.
likes to hide, but she likes to look out and make sure somebody's looking at her. She feels safe in there, but she wants the attention too.
Well, it's like with me. First thing in the morning, I always do a snout count first thing in the morning before I do anything else. Get out of bed and go check my tanks, and if anybody's missing, I'm going to turn on the blue lights. As soon as I turn on those blue lights, all these heads start popping out.
Yeah.
Well,
Girls awake, incoming food.
I'm literally playing with it as we speak because I just really don't like the look of blue light. But maybe I can just lower everything and they'll be happier. I don't know.
You don't have to use exclusively blue. I run, when I bring up my lighting, I've got reds, blues, whites, and greens. I think that's it.
Do you keep the green? I'm very curious. Anyone watching, for your lighting schedule because that's what this light has 6 channels. It's um, crisp white or whatever, and then there's a deep blue,
Yeah.
regular blue, purple, UV, red, and green. And I don't know what I don't. I'm not sure what.
That was the one I was missing, was the UV.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the lights system that I have, you can program it so they have cloudy days, they have stormy days,
Right.
they have sunny days, they have dark days.
You
They
can
have
do,
it.
you
I
can
mean,
do
this
so
thing is
much when you're not trying to grow coral or macros.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like I don't have time to sit here and program you, you stupid light.
Right. But we'll figure it out. All right, I'm gonna let them go have their privacy. Anything else you guys wanted to say, or I'm gonna call it for the night.
I think you're going to have a lovely tank.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
already getting there, and just do a few little tweaks with glow. I think it's going to be beautiful.
Well, I appreciate you guys so much. I'll update you next week. But for now, I'm gonna say Happy Wine Wednesday for the tank. There we go.
Happy Wine Wednesday.
Oh, and by the way, too, wrap this weekend, so I'll probably still be hungover next Wednesday. Ray, thanks for staying with us so long. I appreciate you.
No problem.
All right, Happy Wine Wednesday, everybody. Cheers.